This unit is about equivalent and ordering of fraction. In this video, I'm going to explain how to draw a rectangle that can be used to shade in two different fractions, compare the size of two fractions, and ordering a list of fractions. If I want to see which one is bigger, 1/3 or 2/3, I can simply draw a rectangle that's been divided by 3 equal parts. To represent 1/3, I shade one part, represent 2/3, shade two parts, and I can see clearly 2/3 is bigger. If I have two fractions that they don't have the same denominator, it could be different. Let's represent that one in the shape 2/5, 3/10. I can't compare these two fractions because we can only compare fractions if the rectangles have the same number of squares. So to find what would be that common number, I'm gonna list the multiple of the 5, the multiple of the 10, and see what is the lowest common multiple to find the same denominator. I can see that 10 is their lowest common multiple, so I knew I can divide my rectangles to 10 equal parts. Then I'm going to represent 2 over part. It means out of 5, I'm going to shade 2. And again, I'm going to do for the second part. Then I'm going to represent 3/10. Now, the question is saying which one is bigger, and we clearly can see 2/5 is bigger. Pause the video and have a go at this question. Okay, in this example, again, we have two fractions that they don't have the same denominator. To be able to find the common denominator, I'm going to list the multiples of both denominators. I can see that my lowest common multiple is 15. So now I know I can draw a rectangle that's been divided to 15 equal parts. To be able to represent 2/3, I have to shade 2 out of 3 parts, and I'm going to repeat this process. Then for the next fraction, shading 3 parts out of 5 parts. Okay, the equivalent fraction for the first one, as you can see, is 10/15. And the second one is 9/15. We can see clearly 10/15 is bigger, so 2/3, that's equivalent fraction of 10/15 is bigger. We want to see how we could compare them now without having a shape. Again, we're comparing two fractions that they don't have the same denominator. So first I have to find the common denominator as my first step. I can see that the common denominator is 12. Then I'm going to generate equivalent fraction. We find the common denominator, that is 12, so both of these two fractions are equal to a fraction with a denominator of 12. As you learned on F1, you know how to make and generate equivalent fraction, and you know 5 over 6 is going to be equal to 10 over 12. The same process for the second fraction. Now we are looking to see which one is bigger, and we can clearly see 10 over 12 that the original form of it is 5 over 6 is bigger. So to answer the question, I have to write down in the original form 5 over 6 is bigger. Please pause the video and have a go at this question and follow the main 3 steps. Again, I'm comparing two fractions that they don't have the same denominator. We need to have the same denominator to be able to compare them. To be able to do that, we're going to find the common denominator. We find the lowest common multiple, that is 15. So I have to write down the equivalent fraction that the denominator is 15 for both fractions. You should be quite confident at this step as you've learned it on F1. What do I multiply 3 by to get 15 times by 5? You repeat the same process for the numerator and again for the next fraction. Okay, we are looking to see which one is bigger. I can see 6 over 15 is bigger than 5 over 15. I have to write down in the original form, that is 2 over 5 is bigger. In this question, we want to put the following fraction in ascending order. Ascending means from smallest to the largest. The denominators are not the same. I need to make the denominator the same by generating equivalent fraction to be able to compare them. As the previous F4, we need to find the common denominator by listing the multiple of the denominator. As you can see, 12 is the lowest common multiple. When I found my common denominator, I'm gonna generate equivalent fraction by writing the denominator for all those fractions. And as you've learned in F1, you just need to make the equivalent fraction. We want to compare them, and the question is asking in ascending order. That means the smallest. The smallest one is 8 to 12. However, the original form is 2 over 3. The next one, 9 over 12. The original form, 3 over 4. And the last one, 11 over 12. Make sure you write down in the original form. Please pause the video and have a go at these questions. We want to write down in the descending order. That means from the largest to the smallest. the fraction they don't have the common denominator, so I need to find the common denominator to be able to generate equivalent fraction. As you can see, 20 is the lowest common multiple. Then I generate equivalent fraction for each. And now I'm going to compare them. From descending, that means from the largest, 16 over 20, the original format is 4 over 5, then 12 over 20, the original form is the same, 12 over 20, and the last one is 5 over 10. Make sure that you write them in the original format.